What's good, guys? This is FanPark Live. You are here with your boy Chris from Touchline Fracker and my guy Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. We're just celebrating a special day for a couple of reasons. We're not celebrating what we just saw. Obviously, we've got the royal wedding, but we also have the FA Cup final. Two big events. Obviously, we know what we prefer to be watching or what we spent the last couple of hours watching.
Well, I didn't watch any of the other stuff. So.
But I mean, yeah, what were your thoughts on the game? 1-0 Chelsea. The Hazard penalty was the decisive moment. There's a couple of interesting moments during the game,
yeah, I think Chelsea deserved it in the end because United didn't have enough really to break them down in the end.
Yeah,
I thought the standout players for Chelsea, I thought Hazard was absolutely outstanding. I thought Rudiger was brilliant today. Nothing went past him, did it?
Yeah, he had a good game.
Great clearances, are absolutely brilliant. I just don't think United had enough quality to
to make a difference.
And when Lukaku come on, he didn't really make much of an impact, did he? So obviously very unfit.
I mean, it didn't seem like he came on and United had a game plan of any sorts. It didn't seem like he came on to do
the second half quite well. It looked like they were going to open up, but in the end they didn't have that quality, did they? That final.
I mean, I thought they had a good 15 to 20 minute period in that second half up until the Giroud and Jones injury. When Jones suffered that head injury. And that took a lot of the momentum out of United's game. The tempo went completely for United, that felt, and then that's when Chelsea started to kind of find their footing in the game again. There wasn't that many clear-cut chances. United had plenty of the ball, especially in the second half, but I feel like in this game and in a lot of games for Man United, especially when they were trying to break teams down, whether it be big teams or smaller teams, creating quality chances. I think if you compare it to Liverpool, if you compare it to Manchester City this season, they're able to create chances where you'd expect the player on the ball to be able to.
There's a lot of work to be done in the summer. I think they've still got a lot of work to do. United.
What sort of work?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's something there's not. I think there's something still missing in that team. I don't know what. I can't put my finger on, but there is something missing there. There's just.
Well, I feel
maybe creativity.
Yeah, like what I feel United do better than what they do well is they can defend well when they need to defend well. But what they do struggle to do a lot of the times, in my opinion, is be able to break down teams via their actual play. A lot of the time, and listen, at the end of the day, football's decided by the players, but it isn't just a case of bringing in Alexis and then expecting him to do what he did for Arsenal in the United side. It's not a case.
He was very poor today.
I mean,
I'm a big fan of Alexis, and he was so poor. It was really poor today. Didn't have no impact on the game whatsoever, which it's a shame really because he's played in the last few cup finals. He's played really well there.
Oh yeah,
and he played so well in the semi-final. But you've got to say Chelsea deserved it because they got the vital goal at the right time, and they never looked troubled. So. Well done, Chelsea, and well done to Antonio Conte. If he does go out, if he does leave, at least he's gone out on a high.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with United, their main issue is, are we able to break teams down without necessarily relying on just the quality of our players, which sounds a bit funny, but even the best teams, City have a team full of top players. If you go abroad, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, sometimes PSG, they're able to break teams down by the football that they can play, as opposed to just relying on a moment of magic from your best players. I feel like as Pogba has underwhelmed since he's moved to United, genuinely speaking. However, Pogba isn't at that level yet where you can just give him the ball and expect him to do something. Alexis isn't that player either.
Exactly.
You're not going to get that from Lukaku. You're not going to get that from Rashford. You're not going to get that from Lingard, Martial. There has to be some sort of structure going forward. A lot of the times when we talk about structure, we talk about it in a defensive way. And I mean, we saw it today. Chelsea looked very good in terms of their structure at the back.
Defended really well. I mean, you actually really when it needed, they defended the goalkeeper. You know, when he was called upon, done his job. So I just think United. I think maybe a fit Lukaku might have been much better today, but Rashford, I know he's only young. Remember, he's only young, so you can't really criticise him. But he didn't look today as if he was good. You know.
I mean, it's a funny one because when Van Gaal was still the manager, United weren't a better side than they are now. But he was able to get more out of Rashford. It may just be a case of defenders and teams aren't familiar with him. He's a young 18-year-old. He comes in.
When you just come in, you
just play freely.
You've got no fear. But once you get people start to see how you play, then you've got to step it up again. And I don't think he has at the moment. But he's still young. He's only 20.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to the World Cup. Who knows if he's going to start for England in the World Cup? But yeah, I think a lot of the times as football fans, I'm not a United fan, but I'd imagine that there are some United fans that aren't happy with
It'd be interesting to see if there's any calls coming through.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Get us on the line 0203 606 0315.
Chelsea fans, you want to come on, celebrate?
Yeah, I mean, talk to us.
Do you still want Conte to stay? I mean, they've won now. Do you still want him to leave? I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans that think it's time up for Conte, but has this changed you? I mean, winning the FA Cup. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I don't want to call you one, but let's say you're a Chelsea fan, right? Bearing in mind that they won the league in his first season, it's been a very underwhelming season for Chelsea this year, but they've ended up winning a trophy. You know, and you want to win something. Would you necessarily go for another coach if you're a Chelsea fan?
Interesting. I mean, we stuck with Wenger, didn't we? I mean, but Chelsea like to move. They move differently to the way Arsenal move. I get the feeling that it's not all too great in the boardroom between the boardroom and Conte, and maybe he's a bit irritated that he didn't get the signings that he wanted. At the end of the day, they didn't qualify for the Champions League. I don't know whether that will sway the decision, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. But I'd like to know what the Chelsea fans, what they actually want. I mean, call in Chelsea fans.
I mean,
Let's see what you actually want.
I've spoken to a lot of fans, and you know, before we started the second half, I mentioned that there seems to be a need to kind of bring in more of the players from the academy to give Chelsea a bit more of a feel of like, okay, this is our club. You've got players that understand the Chelsea way. They've been at the club since they were little, and wanting a coach that will come and bring that. You know, obviously you brought out Jody Morris as an example. Obviously that's not going to happen, but that's an extreme example. But do you know what? At the end of the day, it's a case of what do you want for your club? A lot of fans will be very divisive. Some fans just want to compete again. And for me, it's hard to say that Conte isn't capable of making Chelsea compete again. He won the league with them in astounding fashion. I mean, people forget that they went on like a crazy winning streak. They were playing good football whilst they were doing it. And it isn't necessarily a critique of him as a coach.
It's also a matter of, do they keep their players? I mean, Eden Hazard has been... I'm not sure if he wants to move, if he keeps Hazard. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved now.
All right, well, guys, listen. Hold tight. We're going to show you a video from Louis from 100% Chelsea. So you guys check that out, and then we'll come and hopefully take some calls in straight afterwards.
What's going on, UFF? Look, I'm not not going to lie. Chelsea won. Manchester United 0 was not a scoreline I predicted before the game. I thought we'd get absolutely battered. But look, we defended well. We got a lucky break. Phil Jones sending off is a debate for another day. But look, I'm just happy. Chelsea have won a trophy this year. It doesn't play by the cracks of what has been a poor season. But look, they fought well today. They got what they deserved. They tournament competition. You take it game by game. And guess what? We've done exactly that. They're on the way up the Wembley step for the next 30 seconds. So I'm going to have to make this brief and head back to watch that. But listen, absolutely amazing game. Well done to the lads. Worked hard, as hard as Giroud, combined really well. Won us that bad penalty, and we scored it and we converted, and we sat back and set up well. It's as simple as that, really. Commiserations Man United had the majority of the ball, just didn't convert those chances. But look, let's hope that the board see this and see that this team is capable of stuff, but it needs rebuilding. We need to keep pushing forward, and let's use this as a building block. Up the Chelsea.
Yeah, guys, welcome back to FanPark Live. You're in the studios with your guy Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. You got myself, Kane, from Touchline Frackerwood, talking about the Chelsea Man United game. And to be fair, it wasn't the type of game that we'd be talking about for half an hour, 45 minutes. I don't think a lot happened. But let's talk about some of the kind of more key moments during the game. There's a couple of decisions I felt was contentious. I mean, obviously in the first half,
Jones should have seen a red card.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I cannot understand it. I mean, it's probably the reason we haven't got any referees going to the World Cup. But that should have been a red. He was straight through on goal. I mean, you can't be more clear cut. And I can't believe it. I think the referee on that occasion thought, I ain't gonna. He's put his thing. Oh, do I really want to play?
Yeah.
That's
you really
what's
want to have
come
to deal
into
with
his mind, and I think that's gone into his mind a bit, and I think that's why. I'm surprised he didn't even go to VAR. I mean, that was more clear cut to go to VAR than any decision. I mean,
yeah. I mean, personally speaking, I feel like that Chelsea ended up winning the game anyway, so no one really will talk about that decision. But what was also interesting was obviously the Young handball. So people thought that should have been a penalty when I can't remember which player did it, but Young was pretty close to the ball. It seemed like he stretched out his arm a little bit, and then obviously that connected. That should have been a penalty, not a red card, of course not, but that should have been at least a penalty and a yellow card. United didn't really create that many chances. I mean, there was the Rashford chance, which is a bit of a half chance. Lingard played in a nice through ball in the second half, and then Courtois came out and saved it pretty comfortably. The Pogba header was a massive chance. Free header, last 10 or so minutes, and is not able to connect. And let's talk about Paul Pogba a little bit. I mean, how would you sum up his season? I mean, he's probably United's biggest player. Do you feel like he's playing anywhere close to the level that was expected of him when he signed?
Well, he played well in the semi-final, but today he had that chance, didn't he, with the header? That he should have done better with that. But for a man of his price tag, I don't think he was completely anonymous. For me, he didn't do enough today.
Yeah. I
mean, if you've got a £90 million player out there, I want to see a bit more. And I'm afraid I didn't see enough of it today, mate.
I mean,
to be honest with you, I just didn't think he stamped his authority on the game. I think Lampard said he's a YouTube player, isn't it, or something?
I mean, I think that's a bit harsh, personally speaking.
I
think about Lampard at his age, 24, 25. Lampard didn't really come into his own until after then, if we're being completely honest. And I don't want to make this about Lampard's kind of, words around Pogba, but the interesting thing about Pogba is, you're right, you do expect more from a player that costs as much as that. I do feel part of that price came from his potential.
I mean, these are the games, right? I'm not being funny. Yeah. An 89 million, that's why you pay £89 million, but these are the games where you've got to have the influence. That's what the cup final is the ultimate game where you need that player to show his.
But you know what? Like you say that,
his
right?
value on the pitch. You know
also,
what I'm saying?
like what I expect from an £89 million midfielder will be different to what I expect from a number 10 or a striker or a wide player or a defender. And listen, again, he didn't cost 9 million. He cost 90 million. So yes, you do have to expect a certain quality from him. But at the same time, I
definitely expect a header on target. I've
seen Messi miss open goals. So
yeah, but
I know what you mean. Like, you do expect a player to do certain things, but at the same time, you have to look at what's around him. And I'm not being funny, but United do not look like a team that will bring out the best in their players. Yeah, you're able to get the likes of Ashley Young to play to a certain level, but that's a very average player comparison to everyone else. That's an average player playing at his maximum. But Alexis is playing nowhere near his level. Rashford, Martial, Pogba, Mata. I think it's interesting that Lukaku as well. Lingard, again, he's a decent player. Like, he isn't, I don't think he's a good player or a very good player, but he's playing towards the maximum of his level. But if you look at all of United's attacking players, none of them have played well this season. Even last season, what attacking player could you say had an outstanding season or a very good season? None of them did. And
the difference is Chelsea had that Eden Hazard in their team, didn't they? They didn't have that type of player, and that's what won them the game. That's what won them the game in the end. At the end of the day,
that little bit of difference. I mean, there was a great touch by Hazard to obviously get in that situation in the first place, and he did. And he was doing that a lot in the second half as well.
Different class today. The best player. I think him and Rudiger were the best players on the pitch, and well deserved. I mean, at the end of the day, Chelsea done what they had to do. There was nothing spectacular about the game. Not the greatest of cup finals, I'm afraid. But
nah. I mean, that's what Chelsea United games tend to be like. To be fair. They got the rewards, and they deserve. So going forward, I mean, what would you say United need to do to be able to get closer to City and obviously back to a level that they expect to be in? And we've got a call coming in a second. Hold on. Let's see. This should be interesting. I actually want to hear from a Chelsea fan.
Well, how do you do it? Do you know how to do it?
No. Nope. Guys, keep on trying to call in 0203 606 0315. I want to hear from United fans, Chelsea fans, any football fan, and I want to get your take on the game and to Chelsea seasons as well, to Manchester United season and to both seasons going forward for both teams, and what do you think they should be able to do differently?
Coming through or not?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah, like, what was I saying? Yeah, so there's this thing where United for 2 seasons straight have not been able to get...
There we go.
There we go. Hello, you speak to Chris and Claude on FanPark Live. Who am I speaking to?
Hello. Hi, it's Edward.
Nice to speak to you, Edward. Are you a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, give
Happy
you...
Chelsea fan
Well,
today.
congratulations, mate. How'd you feel, mate? How'd you feel?
Oh, yeah, it was a very nice game. Very, very happy with the team performance in general. Very consistent play in defense. Obviously, we need another striker, but obviously, 1 goal was enough today.
Oh, I thought Oliver Giroud done a lot of good work today. I thought held the ball up good. I thought he done really well. I want to ask you, how do you feel about the manager now? How do you feel? Do you feel that they should keep him on? Do you think they should?
Oh, that's a very good question. Big doubt for me because based on his behavior in the press conferences, I'm not really sure whether he wants to stay. But in the end of the day, this will be the club's decision. As for me personally, I would love him to stay and repeat what he's done in his first season. Maybe go for Champions League as well. But he will need a striker. Either buy a new one or maybe establish a good relationship with Morata, because I think letting him play for the last 2 minutes in this game and the previous game is just a humiliation for an £80 million striker.
So would you keep Giroud though? Would you keep Giroud as a backup, or would you
only as a backup?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I think he was a good. That's what Olivier Giroud is, a good backup. But I thought he had a good game. I'm not his biggest fan, as you probably know. but I mean, he played all right.
I feel like the Giroud signing was always going to be for him to do a job. I think Chelsea fans and Chelsea in general knew that Morata just wasn't.
The 2 players I would highlight today were Kante and Rudiger.
Yeah, for me,
they had a very good game.
Oh, but I thought Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was the difference, though, don't you think?
Yeah, of course, but
that little bit of class won you the game, didn't it? Yeah, but that little bit of class won you the game in the end, didn't it? I mean,
well, like the thing is, Hazard will get the headlines. People will talk about Hazard because he's the biggest profile.
oh, I thought Rudiger was.
But like Rudiger, you know, we're speaking to a couple of other Chelsea fans during the game, and I felt like, not to say that signing Rudiger wasn't necessary, but there were other areas, obviously both wing backs, another striker, and like more attacking players that Chelsea needed to kind of look after first. And they signed Rudiger, and you know, I remember the Roma game in particular. I think it was the second game in the group stages where he had an absolute mare. You know, he was really, really poor, but he's actually gone on and improved his form
he's a top
a lot since then.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Top
what
player.
we need is a couple of attacking players, but what I saw today from Rudiger was a very confident play. I wish he played that way the whole season, but not only this game.
No, great
Edward,
point.
I've got a question to ask you. Me and Claude were speaking about managerial replacements, us being Arsenal fans too. But there's obviously a lot of speculation about who's going to replace Conte, because Conte, like you said, doesn't seem particularly enthused about staying at Chelsea. We spoke about Jody Morris, and it's not here to say, okay, do you think Jody Morris is going to be a good manager for Chelsea? But it's more of a case of his name has been spoken of because of his experience at youth level for Chelsea and bringing Chelsea players through. I feel like Bakayoko wasn't necessary because Loftus-Cheek for me has a lot of potential. You've got players like Mason Mount, Solanke, Ola Aina. Even selling Nathan Ake for me didn't really make sense. That's why I was a bit...
And who's the guy that scored in the... who was scored a couple of goals in the Youth Cup final, was it?
Hudson
Odoi.
Yeah, Hudson Odoi. Yeah, that's another player with a lot of potential. What Chelsea academy products would you like to see have a chance for Chelsea, whether it be Conte in charge or any other manager?
Well, first of all, speaking about the manager and potentially Jody Morris as a manager, first of all, he's definitely doing a good job in the academy. But this was the first time I heard the rumors that he can be.
No. It's not the rumours. What I was saying, because what has happened in Arsenal, they're bringing in that Mikel Arteta, yeah. Well, there's a rumour to bringing him in, and I'm saying, would Chelsea do the same and bring someone like Jody Morris? And I don't think they would do that.
I don't think so.
But
because the style of the management,
different.
From the higher styles, from Abramovich, from Granovska, is that they would love to bring big names, and then replace them when necessary. But unfortunately, it works that way with that club.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the right club for Jody Morris.
I get the feeling it could be Jardine or possibly even Ancelotti, because Ancelotti's now could be coming back. I mean, he's now available as well, isn't he? He's not got a club at the moment. Would you take Ancelotti back?
Well, as I said, I would love to keep Conte, but if there would be a replacement needed, I would take Ancelotti or Sarri from Napoli.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be very worried.
That's a good shout.
As an Arsenal fan, I'd be very worried. That's who I wanted as my number one candidate for the Arsenal job, because I feel like, I think what's important, especially in the Premier League...
Might be a language problem.
No, but he coached... he didn't coach, sorry. He actually had a job. He was working... This was before he became a coach. He actually worked in the city in finance.
Right. I didn't know that.
Years ago. So he does speak English, or you'd like to think he speaks English if he worked here before.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's a good advantage for him,
but I feel like, with Sarri, you need a manager that's able to be competitive in the league without necessarily having the best players, because that's what he's done over in Italy.
Yeah.
Juventus have the best players, yet he was able to take them to as far as he did, playing fantastic football. So, Edward, listen, thank you very much for your call.
Great call, mate.
Great call, and then enjoy your win.
Enjoy your win and celebrate. You can celebrate tonight, yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, he's got interesting. He's come up with that point about Sarri. That would be an interesting choice.
Okay, cool. And now we've got United fans, so we have a bit of a different perspective. This is the call I've been looking forward to. If I'm being honest with you,
we've got United fan.
We've got a United fan about to call, so hopefully he's not too emotional.
No,
he's not gone through yet. So, but yeah, no. The point I was making, and I want Chelsea fans to try to answer this if they can, is it isn't necessarily about getting Morris coming in as a manager, because he was good at youth level. It's what young players can come through and do a job, because I feel like Chelsea are past that point where it's just about signing players and signing players. It's like, okay, well, can you give an opportunity to other young players to play in certain positions? That way, at the very least, you're saving yourself money, and then you could go all out to get. Like, they could have signed Aubameyang. You've seen what Aubameyang's done for Arsenal since he's come in.
Yeah.
Imagine if Aubameyang...
It would have been a good...
And I know a couple of Chelsea fans that were eager to get him in the club before he moved to Arsenal. Players like that. Alex Sandro is another one. I feel like Juventus will be prepared to sign him to replace Alonso, because there you've got supposedly a top left-sided, flank player. But, money's been an issue, and I just feel like you're spending X amount of money on Bakayoko, X amount of money on Rudiger, but instead of signing Bakayoko for 40-50 million, you could have just given Loftus-Cheek a chance, and now Loftus-Cheek is going to the World Cup. Instead of signing... we good? Yeah.
FanPark Live.
You're speaking to Chris and you're speaking to Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. Who we're talking to?
My name's
Sorry, go again?
My name's Ali.
Hello, Ali.
I'm a Manchester United fan.
Commiserations for today, but what do you think went wrong today? Do you think we how do you assess that game?
You said we, like you're a United fan.
Outrageous. I think the manager was partly to blame. The players were obviously partly to blame, but I think the combination of the two destroyed the whole game after day. I've seen Sanchez give away the ball more times than God knows anything else I've seen in the match. I just think it was outrageous, and Mourinho's got a lot of thinking to do, because I know he's still going to be here next season, even though I don't want him to be there.
Yeah. It's 2 seasons now. Mourinho, he knows the club now. He knows his players. It's not like he doesn't have a say in the players that come in and the players that he doesn't want to do anymore. Like, essentially, he could do what he wants for the most part. And there's no player that really United could go for that they're not able to sign, really and truly. So, is Mourinho the answer?
No, Mourinho's not the answer. I was saying this about 2 years ago when we had the last manager.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the last manager was the answer too, but the difference is between now and then is when we talk about Manchester United from the last manager, and we think about the outstanding performances and the players that we all wanted to praise, and we look at the team right now, we've got, from then, the things that have changed is we've got a player that's on £400,000 or £500,000 a week. We have another player who is the highest, it costs the most to bring to the Premier League. We've got a goalkeeper, obviously, who we've had from beforehand. And, he brought in the most expensive striker in the Premier League. And it's like, what's next? We're going to give him another 250 million or 200 million to buy another 2 more players, and then he's still going to sit there and say, if I had more money, I could do more.
Yeah, the problem with Lukaku, though, was he wasn't fit today, so you can't really judge him on today, because he wasn't fit at all, was he? Even when he came on in the second half, he didn't look fit at all, did he?
No, definitely. But I just heard you talking to the last fan, and you said how Giroud was a wicked backup. A really good backup. And the way I look at it is, isn't Rashford just as good
as Lukaku?
Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, no, but isn't he as good as
Giroud's a really good
player.
As Giroud. He's not a first team player.
It's difficult to tell, because we see with Rashford, we were saying this earlier
he was poor today, wasn't he, Rashford?
I wouldn't say he was poor. I just feel like, because he had a couple of decent chances, he put in a couple of decent crosses for a couple of chances.
But he's still only young, isn't he?
And it's not the best environment for him. Listen, if you look at the names that he's had in terms of like the attacking players, right? You've got Lukaku, you've got Rashford, you've got Martial, you've got Lingard, you've got Alexis, you've got, even going back to last season, you've got Zlatan, you've got Pogba, you've got Mata, you've got all of these creative players, good players, yet they're not playing anywhere close to the standard. And I'm not even saying playing awesome, but you've got players that are not even...
And that has to be blamed on the manager. I'm a strong believer in believing, even when a player does have a bad game, it's mostly the manager's fault for putting the guy on the pitch, because the manager is like the guy's second father. The manager knows what stage, what place the players are in. He knows who's ready to go to war inside of a game and who's obviously not there. I remember watching it a couple of years ago, and difference I see is that a manager was sitting down on the sideline before, and now we've got a manager jumping up and down.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't
any major difference
like
in
Ali,
football.
like Ali.
I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we're creating more chances now. I understand that, but the only time we come out and do things like that is when we were losing.
Can I? Do you think as well, though, that De Gea is the reason you're actually where you are, in second place? If it wasn't for De Gea, that you'd be further down the table.
Yes, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, the other thing I just want to point out as well, when obviously I know it's been a little while now, but when Mourinho was talking about heritage and what he inherited when he came to Manchester United, he inherited our player of the year for the past 5 seasons. I'm sure maybe Ander Herrera was one of them, but De Gea has been our main man for the past couple of years. And I think since Alex Ferguson's left, he's been our best player. And it's ridiculous to see how many world-class players we've brought into the club, and still De Gea is our best player.
Yeah, it's an incredible. I mean, I remember at the Emirates when we played you at the Emirates.
Yes.
The amount of saves he made in that game was amazing. I mean, it was probably one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen. I mean,
definitely.
And I think he's actually won you. You'd be about, to me, you'd be about 12 or to 15 points worse off if you didn't have him in the team this season. That's how I see it. But
yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. And I mean, the worst thing I see with the situation is how long until Madrid come calling, because since Zidane's taken over Real Madrid, he hasn't really made a major.
Well, he's better than the goalkeeper they've got now. That's for sure. So I mean, maybe Real Madrid will come in for him. I don't know.
I don't. The thing is, just going back to the players that are available at United, it's a case of, well, you say, Mourinho should be like a second father and so on and so on. Don't get me wrong, managers are responsible for the performances of players to an extent. This is my issue. If a manager puts you in a position,
that's the problem with Wenger, because Wenger was too close to the players, and that backfired, in my opinion.
I mean, there's examples of managers that will do everything for a player, so the team will be set up correctly. At that point, it's the responsibility falls on the player. Don't get me wrong. However, I just feel like with Mourinho, it's just like, well, have you placed your players in a position to succeed? Have you done everything that you can do from a man management level, from a tactical level, from in terms of signing the right players to put around him? As an example, a lot of people placed the blame on Pogba's performances last season on Mourinho, because they played a 2-man midfield, and when he'd play, it'd be him and Fulani, as opposed to the 3 in midfield. That's why they brought in Matic. That's why they'd start him with Herrera, so it'd give Pogba more freedom to go forward and not have to think about defending all the time. So I think at that point it was a bit unfair to critique him. But if you look at all of the other players,
what's happened to him then? What's happened to Fulani? I don't know. I don't know if he's getting frozen out because of like the contracts, because his contract's going to be out. I didn't see.
Pretty soon.
Oh well. But I'm just. I think I've got. I think he's just. Are you still there?
Nah, he's definitely gone.
He's gone.
He's definitely gone.
I still believe though that the goalkeeper, the guy has
been their best.
Has kept them.
Yeah. In terms
in
of
the Champions League positions, if you watched him at the Emirates,
I remember watching it.
I can't believe it. How some of the saves he made was miraculous saves.
I feel like it's an issue when a team like Manchester United, a top team, but also not a top team, but a team that is known for their attacking football, their best player for several seasons in a row in terms of performance has been a goalkeeper. And I consider De Gea to be a world-class player. But if your goalkeeper is the best player, that means that you're not doing enough going forward, and maybe, just maybe, you're not doing enough at the back, because your goalkeeper shouldn't be called on to make that many saves. But I mean, with United, it's very, very hard to see what's going to happen, because you don't envision Mourinho changing the way he thinks about football. And I don't know if it's a case of him maybe going back to what he knows. He tried to get players, like hard-working players that play up front, that play out wide, guys like Perisic, players like that instead of relying on other
Another
players.
call here.
Another call.
FanPark Live. What's your name, mate? Hello, FanPark Live.
Hello, it's Terry. How you guys doing?
Is that Jerry?
It's Terry.
Terry. Oh, Terry.
You know him. I think you know him.
Oh, yeah, man.
Terry, how you doing, my bro?
Not great, man. Disappointing, frustrating. The way we performed, the way we let ourselves down today.
What were your expectations going into the game? I mean, aside from obviously competing and winning a game of football, in terms of how you go about the game, your approach, the attitude. I mean, are you surprised by what you've seen from United today?
Hello?
Yeah, Terry, I think he's that depressed, maybe.
Terry?
Give us a call. Listen, Terry, give us a call. Try call us.
Terry?
Oh, he's there. Oh, he's
Sorry,
there.
mate.
Hello.
Good.
Yeah, I've seen us stand up against the top 6 sides over the course of the last few months, whether it be against Chelsea, Arsenal, City, etc. But today, we didn't attack well enough.
Yeah.
Simply and as straightforward as that. No matter how much you try and defend Jose, the attacking football from Manchester United today was simply not good enough. Whether it be the starting lineup or when they brought Martial and Lukaku on, they weren't good enough. Simple and straightforward as that.
Terry.
Go on.
Terry, Alexis Sanchez, I thought was very poor today. I don't know what it was. He kept misplacing passes. He wasn't getting into the game. What's your feeling on his performance today?
Look, Alexis Sanchez wasn't good enough today. When you're paying a man £350,000 a week and he puts in a performance like that, you can dress it up how you want. You can make it the excuses how you want, but it wasn't good enough. Simple and straightforward as that. I've got my mate Matty here with me. United season ticket holder. What are you thinking?
How you doing, guys?
How you doing, Matty?
Hello, Matty.
Yeah, how you doing? My general opinion, actually, I thought the fans actually let the team down today as
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah, I don't think that we created enough atmosphere. You can hear the hoarseness of my voice. You know, I go to the Stretford End week in, week out, and we make some noise up in Tier 2. And today, we didn't lift the team. And I believe that we should have been the 13th man today, and we just weren't.
The 13th man.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. The contribution. Fans should contribute to a team's performance.
But
you should be able to.
Yeah, I understand it, but is this the modern day now where the FA Cup? I don't know. It just seems to be that the modern day fan now is not as.
Well, they don't appreciate it no more.
I even.
We were in the pub. We were in the Green Man pub all day, and fans were on it. Fans were up.
Yeah, I just.
I've been singing since 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you know, we've been on it since the morning, and I didn't see it from the players today.
Yeah, and sometimes.
It's frustrating because you expect them to. It doesn't matter where they're at, what they're doing with their lives. I expect the Manchester United players to be up for it more than they were today. We went a goal behind. It was definitely a penalty. I've seen replays. For me, like Phil Jones went to ground like an idiot in front of like, you know, one of the most skillful players in the Premier League, but a man that has barely done anything all year. Like, no disrespect to Eden Hazard, he's barely like ripped teams apart. But we went to ground. We gave away a penalty, but still there was a long time to come back. And no matter what we did, no matter what we tried, we didn't create those opportunities. Pogba had his header from a few yards out, sort of 70-odd minutes into the game. But there weren't the chances, there wasn't the creativity. And that needs to be spoken about because
they did look more dangerous.
Well, yeah, that's what.
And we sat there. We were there in the Man United end, and you could feel the nervousness from Manchester United fans from maybe about the 60th minute going forward. It's hugely disappointing.
Terry, lucky not to be a red.
Sorry, go on.
Lucky not to be a red for Jones in the first half.
No, I wouldn't say it's a red card because based on the rule change. So in the old days, red card. Based on the rule change, if you try to win the ball, it's not a red card. So.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh,
it's changed, yeah.
If you try to make a legitimate tackle, they don't penalise you in the same way they used to. So
Okay, so it's not.
Oh right,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, you're
double
right there.
punishment.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys this is how angry Manchester United fans are today. Half time, I had a man square up to me in the bar. I was having a fight just because we were recording.
Wow.
After the game, we were recording, doing some videos. Again, man's squaring up. Man's really angry. So today, there's a lot of very unhappy, very dissatisfied Manchester United fans based on the way he performed. And they were taking it out on other Manchester United fans. And
oh, really?
it's important to see, because everybody's there wanting the same result. Man United to win, Man United to walk away with the trophy. It didn't happen today. And that puts a lot of pressure on Jose Mourinho next season now, because the man's got to deliver a big, big trophy based on his reputation as a top manager.
Do you know what? Do I look at it? Do I look at things?
Do you think it's the end of Mourinho, though? There's a lot of speculation saying whoever lost the final today would lose their job. How do you see it, Terry?
I don't think that's the case. This is Matt here. I don't think that's the case. I think Mourinho has built a team, has built a baseline now for the future, for the next 5 years. I do believe he's still building on that. You can't sack a guy after a couple of years. You just can't. I know we did that with the last one, but this guy, he's got a plan, and he's got a proven track record. And no, I've got to stick with Mourinho.
When you say he's got a plan, Matt, what's the difference between how Manchester United look under Mourinho and how they looked under LVG? Like, when you say they've got a plan, where do you see a plan with this team that you didn't see with Van Gaal?
Only Jose Mourinho can answer that question. But
no, but what do you see? Because obviously you've got
4 years didn't deliver, and actually, look at his track record after that initial period. So, in my opinion, he was put in the job to deliver a plan. I don't think, although the plan hasn't really gone the way it should have done, in my opinion, you've got to let the guy have a couple more years just to see it out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, listen, boys, look, smash the rest of the show. Big congratulations to Chelsea fans out there.
Well done, Terry.
They deserve it massively, because they lifted one of the biggest trophies in domestic and European football. So well done to them.
I appreciate
that.
Thank
you,
Matty.
Well done, Terry. Well done, Matt.
I'm going to go and have a few more drinks before.
Yeah, drown your sorrows, mate. That's what you could. That's all you could do, mate.
Congratulations, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done.
Brilliant. Take care, boys. Right.
Okay, cool. So
there you go.
There you go.
I didn't even recognise him from the.
We've got Drifty calling in, so we've got Liverpool fans. So it'll be interesting to see a neutral opinion to see what.
He's not going to be neutral, is he?
Oh, yeah. You got that too. Maybe. But let's give him a bit. Let's give him a chance to give us his opinion on the game and see how that went. I don't know if I agree with Matt though when he says that he sees Jose and he sees a coach has a plan, and then they didn't have that with LVG. I feel like if you just look at what you see on the pitch, there's not a major difference in terms of how, not necessarily how they're going about trying to win games, but just how effective they are.
He was going on about the fans there, but sometimes if the fans can't see something happening, it's very difficult to get them.
I've gone to Arsenal games this season in particular, and this has been the case with Arsenal for a while. And it's like, okay, you've got players capable of doing X, Y, Z, but I don't see. You watch Manchester City, and I don't want to keep on using them as a comparison because Manchester City have an exceptional coach, but Napoli, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, I see how the Spurs. Let's even keep it here. Spurs, Liverpool. I see how they're trying to go about trying to win a game, and I don't see that with Manchester United really and truly. I just see a team that, they get their ball to give it to Pogba, give it to Alexis, expect him to do something. There doesn't seem to be a structure where all you're asking the players to do is now just to carry it through. Players are in the right positions, they're making the right runs, they're making the right decisions. But you have to give a team, no matter what level you're playing at, whether it be youth level, conference level, international level, Premier League level, European football, it doesn't matter. To be successful, every team has a model. Atletico Madrid are a team that are more defensive than Manchester United. That's a team, you saw it against us, they literally just sat back.
They got that killer up front,
and then it's just like, it's just like, listen, the rest of the team, we know what we're doing. We're going to sit back, soak in pressure, we're going to do it well.
Then you've got Griezmann at the other
end. And then we're just going to play it to Griezmann, and we're just going to get him to the other end. And with United aren't as defensive-minded as Atletico Madrid. They have more talented attackers, yet we don't see that clear approach when it comes to, okay, this is how we're going to attack. Defensively, I think it's a bit differently.
I think you've got to give credit to Chelsea as well today. They defended really well. Sometimes we're going on about United as well, how poor they were, but you also got to realise how organised Chelsea were
Well, I do want to talk about Chelsea, but we're just going to go to a video to one of our other fans to get his take on the game, and then we'll talk about Chelsea in a little bit more detail straight afterwards.
What's happening, everyone? It's your boy Drifty. Alright, so that game didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Last half an hour was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I'm glad the game ended the way it did, because it was quite boring in that first half. I don't think Man United do this, innit? They try to bore you into submission, even using crazy like 1994 tactics like man marking. It's madness. But Chelsea did what they needed to do. Hazard, I'm going to be honest with you, it's irrelevant who you're a fan of, who you support, whether you like Chelsea, whether you don't like Chelsea. Eden Hazard is a joy to watch. When he is on it, he is easily one of the most enjoyable players to watch. He's such a phenomenal footballer. I'd give anything to have him at Liverpool. I really would. I even wish Liverpool would test Chelsea with a like cheeky £150 million bid. Let's just see if we can, like, you know, they seem to want money now rather than anything else. Like, the guy, if he's on it, he's unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. And he won Chelsea the game. He was their man today. He stepped up. I don't really think the Man United players really stepped up. I mean, Pogba had a half-decent game. Matic had a decent game. Phil Jones, he's in the England team. Now, I'm sorry. What is going on? What is... Anyway, ask Man United fans how they feel about Phil Jones. Never mind the rest of the country. But you know what? Well done, Chelsea. I thought Man U was going to win this. I'm not going to lie, I did. So I'm actually surprised at Chelsea. But see that Chelsea? That's the Chelsea that I feared on the run-in for top 4. Because that Chelsea are capable. They defended well. Rudiger was amazing. Azpilicueta was amazing. Courtois, top goalie. And even though they didn't do that much going forward, they did enough. They did enough. So congratulations on that FA Cup win, Chelsea. Conte leaves a winner. Mourinho, I got to be honest. Forget the Man U, forget the Chelsea, forget anything else. Because I know Man U fans don't even like Mourinho. They pretend they like Mourinho because they've got to, like, stick up for their own team. And they feel like it shows a weakness if they say anything when he's their manager. Mourinho's an idiot. And watching him upset is a joyful thing. I don't care what anyone says. It's a joyful thing. So just for the smile alone that you put on my face watching Mourinho look like that. Chelsea, I thank you. Congratulations. Hazard, you bad boy. Don't do that in the World Cup. Not against England anyway. Do it to everyone else, not in the World Cup. I'm out, Pete.
Guys, welcome back to FanPark Live. You're talking to your boy Kane from Touchline Fracker, and obviously you've got my guy Claude from Arsenal Fan TV, where we've been covering the Chelsea-Manchester United FA Cup final, where it's finished 1-0 to Chelsea with a Hazard penalty on the stroke of half-time at Wembley, on a day where we've got the Royal Wedding. And to be fair, if I'm keeping it 100, the Royal Wedding was probably more entertaining than that game of football I just watched, and I didn't imagine myself saying that when I woke up this morning. But I mean, we've gone over what Manchester United did poorly, but let's talk just a small about what Chelsea did well.
I thought Chelsea, you've got to also give credit to Chelsea the way they defended. They defended well, and that was probably like the old Chelsea that we know.
Yeah,
that's got them success.
Yeah,
you know, defend well and do the business at the other end. And that was like the old Chelsea was back. So, I mean, whether it's going to save Conte's job, I don't know. I don't think it will. But
I don't think he wants his job saved. I think, you know,
we should see that it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few days with Chelsea, with Arsenal. What's going to happen with the managerial situations? And overall, I've got to say, well done, Chelsea. I think Man United now have got to rethink over the summer what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Maybe have to have need a little chat with Pogba, see, you know, up his game. Or
I don't think they should get rid of Pogba.
I'm just saying he's got. To me, he needs to be more influential, and I don't think he's influential enough in the game. And another thing I've got to really say is Alexis Sanchez. He needs another kick up the backside, because he was awful today, and that's not the Alexis I know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, listen. You know that there it is, the end of the English football season. Well, at a top level anyway, we've still got the playoffs, which for the Championship playoffs and whatnot.
Also, we've got the big game next
week.
week.
Big game next week,
Champions League final.
Which we expect everyone to tune in for. FanPark Live will definitely be covering that game. You should see a couple of our members. I may even be here. And I'm very much looking forward to that final. So,
it should be a cracking final.
So guys, definitely tune in next week, Saturday.
I do fancy Liverpool. Do you know what? I do fancy Liverpool.
You see me personally speaking, on one side, I really don't want to see Real Madrid take 3 in a row.
No.
But at the same time, Liverpool fans winning I can bear it. I can bear it. I'm on Twitter all day. And I already feel like Liverpool fans act above their station as is. So to see them win a Champions League as an Arsenal fan is going to be a bit difficult. But I'm going to be here. I'm definitely going to be watching every minute of that game. Also, what I'd like also you guys to tune in for from Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock on all kinds of streams, and particularly the Ultimate Football Fan one, is the head-to-head debates that we have where we talk about all kinds of topics. I mean, last week we had, what was the more exciting league, La Liga or Premier League. We had Totti v Giggs, and we've got more really, really hot topics to kind of go over.
Stitched up on that one, didn't I?
Man. And you know what's a really, really cool little thing that we have with history? This part of their series where they're covering all kinds of topics and the World Cup and the build up to the World Cup from now up until the mid-June.
Well,
so
all I've got to say,
been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
I'm definitely going to be seeing you again anyway, and then we'll get talk more football.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.